Hi. Welcome to my channel. Health for Seniors. 12 early warning signs of dementia in women over 60 doctors often miss. For women who have crossed the threshold of 60, dementia is not an abstract diagnosis buried in medical journals. It is an intimate fear, one that often tiptoes in quietly rather than crashing through the door. It begins with small, unsettling deviations from the familiar. A mother pauses mid-recipe, unable to recall the ingredient she has measured by instinct for 4 decades. A grandmother reaches for a thick wool coat while the summer sun scorches the pavement. A wife, once the gravitational center of every gathering, grows unusually silent at the dinner table, her spark dimmed, her presence oddly distant. Most families brush these moments aside, labeling them senior moments, harmless quirks of aging after a long life. But what if these changes are not benign? What if they are the earliest tremors of a brain slowly losing its internal compass? Dementia, particularly Alzheimer's disease, does not distribute its burden equally. Women bear the heavier weight. Nearly 2/3 of dementia cases worldwide occur in women. For years, longevity was blamed. Women live longer, therefore more women develop dementia. That explanation, while convenient, is incomplete. Emerging science paints a far more intricate picture involving hormonal shifts, structural brain differences, and immune responses that evolve uniquely in women as they age. Despite this elevated vulnerability, women's early symptoms are routinely minimized, misattributed to menopause, emotional fatigue, or the vague excuse of just getting older. The cost of this dismissal is severe. Diagnosis is delayed until neurological damage has advanced beyond the point where early intervention can make a meaningful difference. By the time clarity arrives, the window for slowing progression has often slammed shut. This article examines 12 early warning signs of dementia that disproportionately affect women over 60, signals that quietly infiltrate daily life and are almost always overlooked. Among them, one sign stands apart. It rarely resembles memory loss. Instead, it masquerades as apathy, indifference, or a subtle personality shift. Yet it is often the first indication that the frontal lobes are under siege. Before continuing, clarity matters. This content exists to raise awareness and empower advocacy. If these patterns appear in you or someone you love, comprehensive neurological assessment is essential. Early detection remains the strongest tool for slowing cognitive decline. What follows are the signs most families recognize only in hindsight, when the damage is already deep. Sign 12, the vanishing filter. One of the most startling early indicators is not forgetfulness, but the erosion of social restraint. Women who spent a lifetime navigating etiquette with grace may suddenly speak with startling bluntness. A once considerate woman comments rudely on a stranger's appearance in public. She laughs at jokes she would have previously found distasteful. This is not irritability or stress-induced sharpness. It is often the result of deterioration in the prefrontal cortex, the brain's internal sensor. This region, located just behind the forehead, governs impulse control, social judgment, and behavioral appropriateness. As it atrophies, the mental voice that whispers "don't say that" fades. Research published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease shows that altered empathy and social conduct are frequently the earliest hallmarks of frontotemporal dementia, emerging years before memory falters. The consequences are painful for families. The woman who taught manners now violates them, unaware. This loss of decorum reflects physical changes in brain tissue, not mood or attitude. Sign 10, kitchen disarray and executive breakdown. For many women, the kitchen is a domain of instinct. Recipes live in muscle memory. Timing is automatic. When dementia begins its quiet work, these once effortless sequences unravel. A woman stands amid boiling pots and half-prepared dishes, unable to decide what comes next. She is not forgetting how to cook. She is losing executive function, the brain's capacity to plan, sequence, and prioritize actions. Cooking demands working memory, foresight, and multitasking. When the prefrontal and parietal lobes weaken, these abilities fracture. According to the Lancet Neurology, such planning failures often precede Alzheimer's disease, particularly when vascular changes are involved. Medication schedules, appointment planning, and financial organization often unravel alongside kitchen chaos. Brain imaging reveals diminished activity and blood flow in regions responsible for organization and foresight. Sign 9, the sarcasm void. Humor becomes literal. Sarcasm falls flat. Metaphors lose meaning. A joking remark about the weather is met with confusion. This shift toward concrete interpretation reflects damage to neural networks that integrate language, tone, facial cues, and context. The temporal lobes, especially on the right side, play a critical role in decoding non-literal language. Studies from the University of California, San Francisco, show that difficulty detecting sarcasm is a strong early marker of temporal lobe degeneration. As abstract thinking erodes, the world becomes blunt, stripped of nuance. Sign 8, the fading sense of smell, anosmia. Few associate smell with cognition, yet for women over 60, olfactory loss is one of the most precise predictors of Alzheimer's disease. Flowers lose fragrance. Coffee smells like nothing. Smoke goes unnoticed. This is not congestion. The olfactory bulb is directly wired to the hippocampus and amygdala, regions first ravaged by Alzheimer's pathology. Amyloid and tau proteins often accumulate in smell-processing neurons before memory centers are affected. Research in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that women unable to identify common sense faced a dramatically higher risk of developing dementia within 5 years. Unlike normal aging, which dulls smell gradually, dementia-related loss is swift and profound. Sign 7, the frozen gaze. A reduced blink rate. A stare that seems vacant or overly intense. These ocular changes often appear years before memory symptoms. Normal blinking refreshes vision and aids cognitive processing. In early dementia, blink rates plummet, creating an unsettling stillness. This phenomenon is linked to dysfunction in the basal ganglia and visual processing centers. Studies in ophthalmology confirm prolonged fixation and reduced blinking as early neurological red flags. Sign 6, illogical misplacement. Keys in the freezer. Glasses in the oven. Jewelry in the trash. These are not careless mistakes. They reflect breakdowns in spatial reasoning and object categorization governed by the hippocampus and parietal lobes. Unlike ordinary forgetfulness, these placements defy logic entirely. Research from Duke University links such behavior to reduced gray matter in regions responsible for spatial mapping. The brain remembers the action, opening the fridge, but forgets the purpose. Sign 5, the financial fog. This is the most dangerous and most ignored sign. Dementia often announces itself through numbers before names. A woman who once managed finances flawlessly misses bills, miscalculates tips, or falls for scams. The parietal lobe, essential for numerical reasoning and logical sequencing, is often among the first regions to lose metabolic efficiency. Studies in health affairs reveal that significant financial errors can surface up to 6 years before formal diagnosis. Shame keeps many women silent, allowing devastation to unfold unnoticed. Sign 4, the wandering word. Language phrase. Specific nouns vanish, replaced by vague placeholders. A pen becomes that writing thing. This condition, known as anomia, arises from degeneration in language centers of the left hemisphere. The object's function remains understood, its name does not. As dementia progresses, vocabulary contracts predictably, from proper nouns to everyday words. This linguistic erosion signals tangible neural damage. Sign 3, retreat from complex hobbies. Knitting needles are set aside. Book clubs abandoned. Bridge nights quietly skipped. These withdrawals are often mistaken for boredom or depression. In truth, complex hobbies demand immense cognitive coordination. As mental bandwidth shrinks, these activities become exhausting rather than enjoyable. Research from Rush University shows that disengagement from cognitively stimulating pursuits accelerates decline. Withdrawal is often a protective disguise for confusion. Sign 2, narrative collapse. Following a storyline becomes impossible. Characters blur. Plot lines evaporate. Working memory, the mental workspace that threads information together, fails. Each scene exists in isolation. Cambridge University research identifies narrative comprehension failure as a strong predictor of Alzheimer's progression in women. Books, once devoured, are quietly abandoned. Sign 1, the slowing gait. Perhaps the most unexpected signal lies in movement. Walking speed slows. Steps shorten. Dual tasking, walking while talking, becomes impossible. The brain, struggling with limited processing capacity, must choose between motion and conversation. Large-scale studies published in JAMA Network Open confirm that reduced gait speed strongly correlates with future dementia diagnoses. Walking is not merely physical, it is profoundly neurological. Dementia does not arrive with fanfare. It seeps in through overlooked cracks in daily life. Recognizing these signs early is not about fear, it is about preserving dignity, autonomy, and time. Found this video helpful? Tap subscribe for weekly doctor-reviewed videos on senior health, energy, and brain science. Comment below. What will you change after watching this? Share this with someone over 60. It's the kind of info you don't get at the doctor's office. Stay smart. Stay strong.